in order to get any kind of, gainful employment or office space or anything, you have to start somewhere.
Yeah.
And it's really, really hard when you haven't showered in a week to go in anywhere and try to get a job. No one wants to smell you. But not that it can't be done. I do know a lot of people out here who somehow get up and they go to a job every day, and my hats are off to them. I'm trying, and I'm just not there yet. So try to support those people that you see working in spite of is my best advice.
Yeah. So today we are here in Garden Grove, California with Brooke. Brooke, are you originally from Garden Grove?
Not from Garden Grove, but Orange County. I was born in Bellflower, but grew up in Costa Mesa, Tustin. So Garden Grove is pretty much home, yeah.
And how old are you?
I'm 32.
32. And what's your current living situation?
I am currently in a very unstable living situation right now. I just found out that I have a brother last year, a half brother, and I've been staying on his couch on and off. It's not very stable at all. So other than that, I don't really have anything permanent at the moment.
How did you find out about that how did you just find out that you had a brother?
I'm pretty sure he found me because he was adopted, so he probably came looking. And we haven't really gotten that far yet in discussing it, but it's definitely been established.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
That's nice. And do you currently have a job? How do you earn money to get by?
Good question. Right now I don't have a job, and I've been usually recycling. That's the best way that I find to get by. Sometimes you find things in the trash that aren't necessarily trash that you can turn and sell for, really small profit, but mostly aluminum.
No boosting, panhandling?
Never flown a sign, won't panhandle. I have stolen from the grocery store, mostly for food. I don't take EBT, so occasionally, yeah, I have stolen food before, and toilet paper.
Have you ever worked like a typical 9-to-5 job?
Oh yeah, I've been gainfully employed since I was 15, and it just this past year really, since I lost my apartment, it's been difficult to hold on to your wallet long enough to even have an ID to go get a job, let alone be able to shower every day, be well rested, things like that. I mean, there's times when I didn't have a watch or a clock of any kind, so that makes it difficult to get anywhere on time, really.
So how long have you been in that situation?
About a year.
A year.
It's been this past year I've been struggling just with homelessness in general.
And what was the situation that led you to being homeless?
I was evicted from my apartment, and I ran into some legal trouble, and apparently there's an obscure renting law in the state of California that if you get convicted of a crime, like any crime of a certain level, and it doesn't matter whether it's violent or not or whatever the case may be, it is grounds for eviction if you're on a lease, which I didn't know. And I was paying my debt to society, and I came out and everything I owned was gone. With no legal recourse either,
Oh. Is your family local? Can you go back to your family?
I can't right now because I have a no contact order with them currently. Because right now my parents are going through an adoption with custody of my son. I went through a really ugly divorce, and that was the best route to take, was to have my parents adopt him. So I haven't been able to have any contact with them in favor of my son being safe with my family and not going to Orangewood.
How old's your son?
He'll be 6 on January 2nd.
Are drugs currently a part of your life?
I would be lying if I said no. I self-medicate. I don't generally get high, so to speak. I don't drink. I don't try to really alter my state of mind at all. I really just try to cope.
What's your drug of choice?
I actually, I've been on opioids on and off for about 20 years.
For 2 years?
20.
Oh, 20 years.
Yeah.
So those are downers, right?
Well, they're their own category. They affect certain neurotransmitters, and depending on your usage and how long you've been dependent on it, your body needs it because it doesn't produce, certain chemicals and neurotransmitters at the rate it needs to. So what would be like a severe downer for someone else or suppressant will actually have an opposite effect to some extent because, hey, you feel better. So it can be energizing in a way if it's used in a medicinal fashion. Now, that being said, of course, you do enough of anything that is classified as a depressant, it will eventually put you to sleep and could potentially stop breathing.
And what drug is that?
Right now, out here, it's fentanyl.
And how long have you been doing fentanyl?
On and off for 20 years. Yeah.
Yeah, I just recently heard about fentanyl. Has it always been around, or it's just now hit the streets? Or
it is just now hitting the streets for street use, but it's been pharmaceutical grade for a very, very long time. Oh, okay. That's actually what I started with. I was kind of given some heavy opioid narcotics at a young age, by trusted adults saying, hey, these will make you feel good. And next thing I know, I'm a dependent, and because of when they were introduced to my system, my body's never gonna kick in at an adult rate, so I'm always gonna have to supplement to kind of feel normal.
Have you ever tried to, or have you been clean?
Absolutely, yeah. I have a son. I was clean all through my pregnancy. I nursed him for almost 8 months, and I've had other, various points of time where I've been clean. I've done really well with medication-assisted treatment where, being on Subutex or something works well for me. But that's where the homeless challenge kind of comes in, because it's really difficult to enroll and keep appointments and things like that when, someone just stole your wallet yesterday and now you don't have an ID, or, someone stole your bike again and now you can't get there. And things like that.
Any chance of an in-house rehabilitation?
I've done many. I've graduated many. I don't believe I have a moral failing. Like I said, I kind of just self-medicate at this point, and I try not to compromise my morals no matter how much physical discomfort or pain I'm in.
And I'm sure it's very dangerous out here.
Yeah. It's especially for females. It's really dangerous out here. There's a reason why I don't, wear a dress or particularly highlight my features. Let's just say.
Anything crazy happen to you?
Yeah, I've had some incidents. I was grabbed off. This wasn't actually in Orange County. This was in Long Beach. But I was grabbed off the sidewalk by someone, and had someone put a knife to my throat in the middle of the night, and pulled me into an abandoned house and assaulted me. But there's been definitely a lot of scenarios that have been very uncomfortable, and women are preyed upon a lot in this situation, especially by, I get a lot of offers for sex acts, and I don't engage, but I can see how a lot of women would be tempted when they're in this situation. When you say, hey, I'll get you, a hotel room where you can have a warm bed, a shower, I'll take you out to dinner, and I'll give you a couple $100. Well, I mean, sometimes that's more than some people see in months. You know, it could take me hours and hours and hours just to get $20 worth of aluminum, you know, if I'm legitimately just digging through trash, you know, to legally, well, and that's not even legal anymore in some areas. You can't even dig through trash to get aluminum cans to recycle. So it's kind of definitely feeling criminalized, like the homeless problem has been criminalized in order to get rid of it, as opposed to addressing an actual issue. You know.
Have you heard from CityNet or Bridges as far as getting housing?
I am not on the Section 8 housing list. I have personal beliefs about that. I think that disability should be filled first, and our veterans should receive housing first. I know far too many out here, and I'm neither one of those. I'm an able-bodied non-veteran, so I think I should be further down the list, so I elect not to apply for that. It's kind of, I don't get EBT either. I just choose not to, because I'm not really agreeing with a lot of California's policies, and I don't want to accept a handout if I don't agree with someone's like ethics. So if I'm in disagreement with their ethics, that would be like me endorsing them by accepting that kind of help without there being kind of work for it. The only thing I do have is Medicaid, but that's a personal belief of universal health care that should be available to all. Yeah.
Wow, good for you, and sticking by your beliefs.
Oh my God, it's so hard.
My goodness.
Like I said, I've definitely stolen a chicken or two, or more than a few in my day from grocery stores. Not my finest moment, but.
If you could have like a dream job or something you're qualified for, what would that be?
I think I'd actually be really well qualified for a homeless outreach nonprofit, especially after this experience. You know, it's really shed light on the real difficulties people face, and who want like a hand up versus a hand out. You know, and that's the problem, right? Because you get these services and you don't know how to distribute them. You don't know how to determine the people that are going to utilize them to benefit themselves in society, or as opposed to just being a strain on society. It's a very fine line, and it's very, very hard to, you know, develop any kind of, you know, measurement system for that. And it's like, what can you do to help people without enabling people?
And then after being homeless for the last year, what's the most important lesson that you've learned?
Most important lesson is, at the end of the day, I want to like myself. And as long as I do according to, like, treat others how I want to be treated, you know, and I can go to sleep wherever that may be, and sleep like a baby. I know things will always work out somehow, even if it's not the easy way. You know, I just keep trying. I'm by no means perfect, not even close. But that's kind of the you know, how I gauge my mental health on a daily basis, because that's the hardest thing out here is mental health. And if you didn't have mental problems before, a lot of times you will develop them, especially PTSD out here. It's very, very common.
It's got to be hard out here, my goodness. But that's great that you stay true to yourself.
I try.
And lastly, do you by chance have any social media information or a Cash App in case anyone wants to donate or reach out to you? Facebook?
Right now, I really only have a email and phone. I haven't actually disconnected from social media, but it looks like I'm going to be starting some things again, because I should, you know, at least utilize the resources I have. And I'll take this opportunity and I'll give you my email, and okay. I'll go from there.
Okay.
And address anybody who wants to reach out. It's pop-up consult.
Here, I'll let you write it on
okay.
here.
Thank you.
Or you can just, we'll take your email, mm-hmm. and then we can reach out to you and you can give us a Cash App or something instead of posting your email.
Okay.
I don't know if you actually.
Oh, I'll post my email. It's fine. It's for business purposes, anyways. So.
Okay. What's your business?
Consulting. I do mostly paperwork, actually. I am third generation, like with taxes and all kinds of filing, student loan forgiveness, all basically forms no one wants to fill out, and lawyers charge too much to do.
Oh wow!
For people,
so kind of like an under the table.
I paid my taxes.
There you go.
Yeah, it's similar. I just don't really like to deal with the legal system in that regards, but I would be open to doing so. But like I said, in order to get any kind of, you know, gainful employment or office space or anything, you know, you have to start somewhere.
Yeah.
And it's really, really hard when you haven't showered in a week to go in anywhere and try to get a job. No one wants to smell you. You know, but not that it can't be done. I do know a lot of people out here who somehow get up and they go to a job every day, and you know, my hats are off to them. I'm trying, and I'm just not there yet. So try to support those people that you see working in spite of is my best advice.
Yeah. Well, thank you, Brooke.
Thank
Do you
you.
mind if we use the video on or the interview on a YouTube channel?
Not at all. I
Awesome.
give you full permission.
Awesome. Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome.